So you're about to go check out a car you're interested in buying, and you want to know what are some serious red flags that if you see them, you should run for the hills. You're going to find out today. Let's get started. So today I'm going to share with you 8 situations that if you run into one of these, you should not buy the car. You should get into your vehicle you're driving or bicycle that you rode or however it is that you got there and turn around and leave immediately. I get asked these questions a lot, so I decided to do a video on showing what to look for as far as the logistics of buying a car. Not necessarily the things that could be wrong with the car, although some of those will cover that topic. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 is a crap ton of parts have been replaced. I just did the alternator, the starter, the battery, the water pump, the power steering pump. I replaced all these parts, a new this, a new that. Then you start asking the question, why? What problem were they chasing? There's something wrong with this car that they very likely threw everything they had at it, did the parts can and tried this, tried that, and it didn't work. It's still broken. And they said, you know what, screw it. Let's just dump this thing. I'm done with this. And now you're there looking at that car to buy it. So definitely that's one of those situations where ask them everything that's been replaced. If it's an item or 2 or 3, that's fine. But when they have a list of 15 items they've replaced, I guarantee you they're not restoring the car just for posterity. There's something wrong. But I would be very leery of handing over some cash on a car that they're probably chasing some unforeseen problem. They were unsuccessful, and now they're handing it off to you. And thinking about that last scenario with all the parts that they just replaced, it kind of gets me thinking about what did they spend on all those parts? And no matter what you're buying, whether it's car parts to a hamburger, it seems everything has gotten more expensive. Keeping up with rising bills and expenses can be very hard and even scary. When Mrs. Wizard and I were just married over 20 years ago, we found ourselves with more debt than income. We worked very hard over a year to get it all paid off. It would have been nice to have some outside help and guidance to get us through the rough time. Luckily for you, PDS Debt, the sponsor of today's video, can help you get debt-free. If you owe $10,000 or more in eligible debt, PDS Debt can help you, even if you have fair or bad credit. PDS Debt strives to understand your unique situation and can help provide alternative solutions to get you out of debt from credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills. Stop waiting and start saving. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/carwizard. It only takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/carwizard. Don't forget, pdsdebt.com/carwizard. Now let's get back to this list of red flags. So in case you're wondering, what am I sitting on? This is actually a seat out of Hoovie's old H2 Hummer, which he no longer has anymore. It's a big yellow one that he did a video on. This one was all ripped up and torn up, and I couldn't throw it away. And we're also working on his current blue FJ. So it became my thinking chair. Here it is. So let's move on to scenario number 2. You go to look at the car, it runs rough, and maybe even in the ad they might have mentioned this, but they say, yeah, it's just a bad O2 sensor, it just needs a new one. I actually have one in the car, just need to be replaced, it'll solve the problem. I just haven't had time to put it on. You know, if I had time, I'd have put it on. That's a bunch of malarkey. Anyone who knows anything about selling anything, if you could put on a $50 part and ask $500 more or $1,000 more on your car, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you find the time to do that? Why would you rip yourself off? There's more to the story than just an auction sensor, I guarantee it. They may have the part, and I've actually seen scenarios where they include a part with a sale and it ends up not even being the right part anyway. You start replacing it and you're like, that doesn't even go to this car. It was just a scam in the first place. And it doesn't have to be an O2 sensor, it could be anything. It could be a mass airflow sensor. It could be a ton of small little parts on the engine. It could be a set of brake pads. You hit the brakes and it's grinding. Yeah, I got a set of brake pads I'll include with the sale. If that's the case, tell them you put them on and call me back and we'll talk about the price. The third scenario is something I've been pushing all along for years on this channel. Is you go to look at a car, and by the way, Mrs. Wizard and I have been through this through many different car purchases, and we walked away immediately. Hey, the car looks good. How much you asking? Blah, blah, blah. Do you have a clear title? Oh, no, I actually don't. It's in the mail. I'll get it to you as soon as it comes in. Go ahead and buy the car today. As soon as it comes in, I'll get that to you. I promise I'll get it to you. It's just going to be a week, I think, just a week out. You'll have it in a week. Lies. Always lies. I remember a motorcycle I bought a long time ago that was the ploy that the sale was done under. The title's in the mail. I'll get it to you. Go ahead and purchase it and head back home. And I was young at the time. I was stupid, and I fell for it. That's why I'm giving you guys these advice tips today, because I've been through these situations. It took me 7 months to get the title. I kept calling the guy, hey, you know, where's the title? Or I'd text him, did you get the title? Oh, it didn't show up yet. I'm hoping it'll come this week. And another week passes. Yeah, it didn't show up yet. I'm sorry, it didn't show up yet. Maybe this week. 4 or 5 weeks later, I got really upset. I started calling banks around the town that he lived in, because I had a sneaking suspicion. There was about 6 banks in this little town. I found one. I asked them about the name of the person and also a motorcycle. I gave them the VIN number, everything, and they said, yes, we have a title loan on that motorcycle. You shouldn't have it, Mr. Long. He's not eligible to sell that. I said, well, I do have it, and it's in my possession now. They said, well, we're not going to release the title until the $700 that he owes us has been paid. And when you're in that situation, there is absolutely nothing you can do but pay the loan for the guy. Because you could say, well, I'll take him to court. That'll cost you thousands of dollars in attorney fees, and it'll probably take a year worth of time. I got so mad, I said, can I pay the $700 right now? Will you release this and send it to me? Send the title to me, not to him. Okay, yes, Mr. Long, we can do that. They paid it, and within a week, I had the title. I took a picture of it and sent it to the guy. I said, I have your title. How'd you get it? I paid your loan, jerk. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to reiterate this again. This is a slogan I have. No title, no deal. Walk away immediately. I promise you. The next scenario, number 4, is you reach out to the seller. You're interested in purchasing a vehicle, and you got some questions. How about this? How about that? And they say, I'm not too sure. I'm selling it for my uncle. The title is actually in a different name. It's my uncle. I'm selling it for my cousin. I'm selling it for my friend or whatever. I'll tell you what's happening in that situation. It's a legal issue. There's an actual legal name. It's called curbstoning. They bought the car from somebody. They never registered it themselves because they probably found out some very depressing news about that car. Something is really wrong with that car. And then they got to the point, they were like, well, it's not even worth registering at this point. I'll just dump it. So you're buying it from John Smith, but the title says Susan Myers. You're like, well, who's Susan? Oh, that's my aunt. Yeah, I'm selling it for her. BS. It's a lie. The person selling it and the name on the title should match. Otherwise, they're not really legal to be selling it, and they're probably jumping titles. That's very, very illegal. Run away from that one. This one can actually happen at a dealership. You go in, you road test a car, you like the car, except for it's running really rough. Something's wrong with the engine. It's making a noise. The dealer tries to pull the wool over your eyes with this sales tactic. I'm sorry that you found that it has that issue. We can go ahead and sell you the car today. We'll sell you an extended warranty. And once this is all done, you can claim it, and it'll be free. They'll fix it for free. They're just trying to get you through the door and get your money. What's probably really going to happen is you buy the car, buy the extended warranty, make the claim, just to find out that the issue that's wrong with your car is not covered under that warranty policy. So you just got double scammed. You bought the car that's broken and gave them extra money for a warranty that doesn't even cover what's wrong. Make the dealer fix what's wrong without buying anything else. They should be paying for it, not you. And if they refuse, don't buy it. Walk away. That's a huge red flag. Number 6, you go to look at the vehicle. You like the vehicle, but you notice that the check engine light is on. So you talk to the seller, say, hey, I noticed the check engine light is on. And they try to pull the old O2 sensor scam. And just like in a previous video where we talked about this, someone who doesn't know what's wrong with a car or doesn't know exactly what's going on will always jump to one or two different sensors, the O2 sensor, an airflow sensor, or a map sensor, something simple. They're going to say, yeah, I see that the check engine light is on. It's just an oxygen sensor. If you get that fixed, the car's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and do the deal today. You shouldn't do the deal. You should probably say, you fix it, call me back, and then we'll renegotiate or we'll talk about this again. But really, you probably should not buy the vehicle because that check engine light could signify a possible $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 repair that you get stuck with. So a check engine light can come on whether there is one item wrong or 12 items wrong. There's no way to differentiate in between. You could bring yourself a handheld scanner and scan for codes and see what's going on, but really you're not going to get a good diagnosis till you get it to a shop and really isolate the issues, which still could cost you a lot of money. So if they're playing what I call the O2 sensor game, don't buy it. This one's actually happened to me a few times. It was just me at the time. Mrs. Wizard wasn't there, and I just left immediately. It says in the ad, the car runs, blah, 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 everything's good to go. So you say, okay, I'll set a time, let's go check it out. So you get there, and the owner says, well, actually, I lost the keys. If you'll buy the car today, I guarantee you I'll get you the keys, but I'm sorry, something's wrong with the ignition, or the keys are lost, or whatever, so you're not going to be able to start it today. How are you going to get it home? If it doesn't start, you don't even know what you're diving into. There's probably something more wrong than just the keys. Also, another one they can try is, yeah, the starter's bad. I got the keys and everything. You hear it click. I guarantee you it's a good motor. It's fine. It just clicks. It needs a starter. Why wouldn't they just fix the starter so they could ask more money? I guarantee you it's not just the starter. And also, it could be, they say, yeah, the battery's dead. I didn't have the time to charge it. If you go ahead and purchase it, we'll get that taken care of, or I'll get it towed to your house, or some kind of scam or something like that going on. If it won't start, obviously it doesn't run good. There's no way to prove that. There's no way to drive it. There's no way to road test it. If you're buying the car just for parts, you still could get scammed because maybe you need that engine out of that car and you can't even tell if it runs. There's been more than a few instances. There was once where I drove all the way for 2 hours away to look at a vehicle, and they said it won't start. I just hopped into my vehicle and headed back home. I knew it wasn't worth it. So on to the final one. The last one is everything checks out okay, but you notice during a road test of this car you're going to possibly purchase that the AC isn't blowing cold. So you get back and you talk to the seller and say, hey, I like the car, but I noticed that the AC isn't working. And here's the line they will always say, it just needs a few cans of refrigerant from Walmart. Most modern cars today are very sensitive to the amount of ounces of refrigerant you put into the AC system. Just dumping a can in it is not a good idea. But they still will try to do that trick there. It just needs some refrigerant. If you just top it off, it'll be fine. Let's go ahead, give me the cash, I got the title, let's do this deal. The answer should be, no, I'm not interested anymore. Because 9 times out of 10, there's a whole hell of a lot more wrong than just needing some refrigerant topped off. The compressor could be locked up, there could be electrical issues, It could be a massive refrigerant leak, maybe inside the dash. That could be a $2,000 or $3,000 repair. And they know this. They're just hoping you'll buy it and move on. Give me your money, go away type thing. If you live in northern Alaska or somewhere where AC is not even used, you don't even care, then I guess you could look past that. But if you live in South Florida, that's definitely a deal killer. No AC, and you're saying it just needs refrigerant, that's probably a lie. It probably needs so much more. So kind of the going theme here you've seen of all of these 8 instances, some of them are that there's something wrong with the car and they always try to relate it to a cheap, easy part or a fix. So that you don't feel so bad buying their car when they know themselves something drastically is wrong with the car. But they don't want to tell you that. They'll just say, oh, it's just this little sensor. It rarely ever is just the little sensor or just a top-off refrigerant or something. It's always something much worse. So that's kind of why I did this video for you guys today. I've been through these scenarios. I've been burned. It's experience that I've had over the years that I can share with you guys, that you could write these things down on a list. When you go to look at a vehicle you're going to purchase, if any of these things come up, you should run away. You should say, hey, thanks for letting me look at your car. I got a few more to look at and I'll get back with you. And then the truth is you will never call them again. Some car sellers out there are going to hate me for putting out this video. They're going to be like, man, this guy just killed my deal. Too bad. You shouldn't be lying to people. So hopefully it helps you out. Keep these in mind, or like I said, write them down. It's very good advice for purchasing a vehicle. There's so much more than how good does the paint look, or how much does it leak or not, or there's so much more to a car sale. So if you're curious what kind of tools you use to work on this FJ Cruiser or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button here because we have so many more videos for you guys to watch coming down the pike. Thanks for watching.